In this video, I'm going to show you the most important dueling techniques and character tricks you need to know in order to win duels in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Let's get right into it. I'm going to start by showing you parrying because it is probably the most important and most used attack in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Without learning parries, you're giving yourself an insanely severe disadvantage and you're going to lose most, if not all, the duels you take against an opponent who uses parries.
Alright, we'll call it a draw.
So, how do you perform a parry? To perform a parry, you hold down block and wait for your opponent to swing at you. As soon as you see your opponent start to swing at you, you immediately swing back at him while holding down block the whole time. It is as simple as that. You just have to practice and get the timing right. The reason this works is because when your opponent swings his lightsaber at you, his hitbox opens up for a brief second, allowing you to get in a hit. While at the same time, you don't take damage because you're holding down block, blocking his attack. To learn parries, I advise either asking someone in Heroes vs Villains 2v2 to let you practice the parry with them, or play as Darth Vader in 2v2 as he has a lot of health and you can afford to make mistakes while learning this attack. Another thing I want to mention that I do to bait parries is while holding block, I swing my lightsaber once and wait for my opponent to reactively swing back at me so I can be ready for a swing and time a good parry. The next attack I'm going to show you is hooks, or more commonly called hook swings. Now, there are two different kinds of hooks. There's the jump hook, and the more commonly used and much safer dash hook. You might have noticed the dash hook I did a second ago in the fight versus Anakin and Dooku. To perform the dash hook, you simply dash forward past your opponent and swiftly turn around and attack him from behind. If you are using multiple different techniques in your fights and moving around a lot, oftentimes you can get a couple of these hits off on your opponent even if they are aware of the move. And it's a great way to get damage in, as back hits do more damage than front hits. Now, let's talk about jump hooks. I personally don't use jump hooks very often, as to perform the move, you have to jump in the air, exposing yourself to attacks. But I will say this move is definitely nice to have in the back pocket as sort of a surprise attack. So, how do you perform a jump hook? To perform a jump hook, you start by sprinting and jumping up, not super high mind you, and then while still in the air, once you're just about past your opponent, you turn around and swing your lightsaber, hitting them in the back right before you land. As I said before, the jumping makes this move a lot riskier than regular dash hooks because you can't block your opponent's attacks while in the air, so make sure to use this attack with caution. Okay, so there is one other type of hook I want to talk about. It's called a rush hook. Only 3 characters can perform this attack: Yoda, Luke, and Maul. They all have an ability called a rush attack, and there is a sneaky way to get in an extra hit while rush attacking an opponent. The way it works is once you rush attack your opponent, you want to turn around swiftly and attack your opponent's back. It's similar to a dash hook, but you do more damage if your rush attack hits your opponent. This attack is naturally a little slow to perform, so don't expect every rush hook to hit. But once you pull it off, it's quite satisfying. I now want to mention lunge attacks. To perform a lunge attack, you simply run and attack. You will notice you leap forward and swing your saber when you do this. This attack works wonders against Boba Fett and droidekas who will try to get away from you. And actually, once you get that first lunge in, you can just keep mashing the attack button with your saber and you will keep leaping towards your opponent who is running away. It is a great way to finish off a pesky opponent. The next dueling technique I'm going to talk about is specific only to General Grievous. General Grievous is quite a unique character. He has a very slow lightsaber swing, but it's very noteworthy that you can force a fast attack with Grievous by parrying. He also makes up for his slow swing by being able to do a swift hop attack. There are 2 ways to perform this hop attack. I call the first one, very simply, hop attack, and the second, block hop attack. So, how do you perform these attacks? To perform block hop attack, you hold down block the whole time and you barely jump with Grievous. Just as your claws come off the ground, you swing your saber and you repeat these chain of actions over and over until you are satisfied with how diced up you or your opponent has become. I admit, this attack is easier to explain than to do. To learn this technique, you really just have to practice and find the timing with your spacebar and lightsaber swing. But I am confident, with a few minutes of solo practice, you will get your first good block hop attacks in. Now, to perform hop attack, you simply do the same as block hop attack, but without holding block. Now, it is very important to use both these attacks interchangeably while dueling, that way you can be slicing your opponent as fast as possible with Grievous. As far as when to use hop attack versus block hop attack in duels, this is something you really just pick up on naturally. But I can give you one example. Say your opponent has turned their back to you in a retreat. Well, in this case, you need to attack your opponent in the fastest way possible. So you use a simple hop attack, as pressing block takes about half a second to initiate, slowing you down before you can swing at your opponent. Alright, I've explained the main attacks. Now I will mention some noteworthy tips and tricks. Number 1. Blocking lightsaber throws. There are two ways to do this. One is simply dodging out of the way, and the other is blocking the lightsaber thrown at you with your lightsaber. To successfully do this, you must track the lightsaber thrown at you with your lightsaber while holding block. Number 2. Stun locks timed with abilities. To stun someone, you have to hit them with your lightsaber, either by throwing your saber if your character has that ability, or by a regular lightsaber hit. Right as you hit an opponent with your saber in either form of attacks just mentioned, your opponent becomes very briefly stunned and cannot block. This is incredible for Darth Vader and Darth Maul, as they both have choke abilities that, when timed properly with a successful back hit with their saber throw, allows them to use their choke abilities on their briefly stunned opponent. Number 3. Yoda can somewhat ignore his healing animation by doing a small hop and hitting his healing ability in midair. Number 4. You deal extra damage with chokeholds by aiming your reticle at a player's body and especially their head. This works great with Darth Vader's choke and Anakin's retribution ability. Number 5. High sensitivity is essential for a good duelist. For saber characters, my soldier sensitivity is set to 16, and for zoom sensitivity, 33 with a DPI of 1600. And when I switch to a blaster character, I lower my soldier sensitivity to 8 and my zoom sensitivity down to 28. It's funny, I only just found out that zoom sensitivity affects saber characters when blocking, so my 33% zoom sensitivity may change a little the more I practice. Number 6. Especially as a new player, you will notice a delay of inputs. For instance, when you press attack repeatedly, you will see your character will continue to swing your saber even after you stop hitting attack. Over time, you will naturally learn how to time this delay, and you can get your character to attack as many times as you want. Again, this is something you naturally pick up on, but it's worth noting for new players. Number 7. Watch out for fakes and take advantage of faking. Faking is where you very briefly let go of a block, sprint forward, or do a little hop and instantly resume blocking. You can do this to get a player to waste their ability thinking you're open for an attack, but by the time they use their ability, you have already resumed blocking. Number 8. Star cards. Star cards are huge. As you level up your characters in co-op is the fastest way to level up your characters, you will unlock star cards and be able to upgrade your card levels as you level up each character. You will need to read each card and upgrade them accordingly as to what type of gameplay you are focusing on, whether it be for Supremacy or Heroes vs Villains 2v2 dueling. Number 9. This is a big one. Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker can use Force abilities in the air. Kylo can use both his Force Pull and Force Freeze while in the air, and somewhat obviously, Luke can only use his Force Push while in the air. But there is a catch with Luke. Luke's ability bugs out frequently. It seems to happen when you jump too high or are airborne for too long. I am still figuring out the exact cause, but as soon as I figure it out, I will let you guys know in the comments down below. Number 10. When using General Grievous's Claw Rush ability, you can sometimes hit your opponent a second time if you get the first hit in right away. Also, when you are hit with the Claw Rush ability, you can recover quicker by spam attacking, but take note the animation cancel is quicker depending on the hero you're playing. I will lastly say, for new players, it is proper etiquette to emote or wiggle your saber before starting a duel, and Heroes vs Villains 2v2 is where players go to 1v1 lightsaber characters, And yes, you will encounter players who choose blasters instead of saber characters, and also you will find players 2v2ing in 2v2. That is technically the game mode after all. Well, that will be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, and God bless, my friend.